Now, this is my opinion, yeah, Nick. And I didn't even tell you this story. I have to tell you a story first.
Okay, go on.
Last year, when I was in Vegas, for Crawford versus Spence, and I always put that as a footnote. When I was in Vegas for Crawford versus Spence, I saw one of the baddest chicks ever, bro. One of the baddest chicks ever.
Describe her. Paint me a word picture. My eyes are closed.
Latino. Latino. Spanish thing. A little bit like her complexion is similar to like a Thiago Silva type complexion.
You could have used the female.
I don't know what female.
Fair enough. Yeah, go on.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's
Why
cool.
for that, by the way?
Yeah, go on.
But the drop was mad.
Yeah.
Like mad drop.
Always is.
Hips moving mad.
Yep.
Grey leggings and that.
Them Latin things have always got like the thick lower half and then the kind of petite top half.
Trust me, very petite top half.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
She was one of those girls where she had a sporty look, so she had like the grey leggings with a baseball cap on.
The slick back ponytail and all that.
You know the thing.
I know
the
what
thing.
Yeah,
Slick back ponytail.
I've been
everything.
around. I've travelled.
So she is walking. We were actually at the door where they were doing the official weigh-in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So me and my cousin were there, and Nonito were there. Bare guys were just weighing in. We were standing there.
And then you saw the man she was with.
So she walked down the stairs first. I was like to my cousin, "Yo, who's that gal?" And you know me, bro. I'm drawing gal if I'm just trying to
you
shoot.
got active. Yeah, you're trying to get.
I'm fully active.
Yeah.
Then I just see this tall, light-skinned brother behind. I'm like, bro, that's David Morrell. Bro, David Morrell's gal. I don't know if
you say your head did a 180.
I was like,
behind you. Yeah.
Facts.
You know,
Facts. David Morrell's gal. I don't know if he's still with her yet.
You said, give him a belt for that alone.
Bro,
give him a belt.
I was like, yo.
Give him a belt for that alone.
My man ain't no prospect. That ain't a prospect, gal.
Them camps
That's
must
a
be,
world champion, gal.
Them semen retention camps must be
Trust
very
me,
difficult
bro.
in the Morrell household.
Trust me. So I was like, boy. But obviously, whilst we're on the topic of Morrell, at that time, he was non-stop calling out Benavidez.
Yes.
Non-stop. Benavidez, which is a surprise because no one calls out Benavidez.
It's sick.
Everyone runs in the other direction.
I love it. Yeah.
And he done it even better because...
Didn't even call out Canelo.
No.
Went straight to Benavidez.
Not the money, I want Benavidez.
Yeah. Legacy over legacy.
Over money.
Yes.
And it's mad because Benavidez starched Caleb Plant, starched Andrade. Like, my man's out here fighting top-level fighters and beating them. And he still want that work. Then he moved to... Then Benavidez, who everyone said was weight bullying at 68, moved to 75. Morrell didn't stay at 68. He moved up to 75 just to chase him.
He followed him.
Now, I don't care what anyone says.
No,
That's all level gangster, bro.
When you go home to a girl like that every day, the confidence you have is mad.
Trust me. Yeah. That is a different level of gangster, bro.
Yeah.
You could have stayed at 68. You moved up to 75 and followed him.
Yep.
That I respect. With all of that being said...
You think it's too early?
I think this fight's too early for David Murillo.
It is too early, but it's not far too early. I think it's maybe one fight away. I would have liked to see him against I thought maybe an Andrade or something like that. I would just like to see one of those little in-between people. But it also makes it difficult because he's moved from 68 to 75. So that immediately drops a lot of names out of who we could have seen. But I like the fact that he has specifically chased him down. He knows what he's doing.
Trust me, like, when someone ducks someone down that much, it makes you ask, do they know something that we don't know?
Do you know why it's smart? Because it's so early, like Canelo losing to Floyd, it can't really damage David too much.
Specifically if he fights well.
If he fights well and loses and it's a competitive fight, he can still go and fight the Andrades and the Plants and all those kind of guys.
And get credit for chasing.
Huge amounts of credit, and possibly, they're close in age as well. Like, they're only a year apart.
Yeah, facts.
It's 26 Morrell, 27 Benavidez. Morrell has a lot of amateur experience.
Cuban versus
Mexico. I'm gassed for this fight. I'm gassed for this fight.
The reason why I'm so gassed is because, here's the thing, even though I say it's too early, one, I do think because he's chased him so long, he may know something that we don't.
Yeah.
And because Benavidez has never really wanted that fight, not saying he's scared of it, but he's always wanted a bigger name, it makes me think maybe Benavidez might overlook him. Yeah. But more than anything, Benavidez isn't Crawford. He isn't Usyk. He has evident deficiencies.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Like, he's one of the worst defensive fighters in the sport. Morrell can bang.
I was going to say that, like, Benavidez's performances are up and down. Morrell's pretty consistent with his performances. Granted, he's not fought the level of opposition that Benavidez has. So it's one of those, can you translate the work you did over here with these guys for the C, D grade fighters to a B/A grade fighter?
Because the reason why the fight, I'm not so against it. And in fact, I'm not against it at all.
Yeah.
The reason why I actually like the fight is because Benavidez is going to give Morrell opportunities to win, bro.
Yeah.
Because Benavidez is a guy who's going to walk forward and he's going to try and take your shots.
Yeah.
Morrell can crack, bro.
It's great risk versus reward for Morrell. Because it's a situation where the reward is way higher than the risk. Because it doesn't damage your stock that much, especially, like you say, if you drop him or you hurt him or it's competitive and you lose but in a competitive fashion, it damages your stock a little bit, but it opens up so many doors. It might actually bring Morrell closer to a Canelo fight down the road. It brings him a lot closer to Plant and Andrade and all these kind of guys.
I mean, it depends, because you look at 75 and you think Bivol Beterbiev, they're not going to be around for that long, specifically not Beterbiev.
Yeah.
So you think about the crop that's coming through. Obviously, we have the English crop like Boatsi, Yard and all of that. But for me, if he has a competitive fight...
Morrell versus Yard would be a great fight.
100. And that's my point.
Great
like,
fight.
You think about someone like Morrell and you think, if he has a competitive fight with Benavidez, looking at his age and his experience, he will be right at the front of the line for the next generation. Yeah. It's very similar to when David Hay lost early in his career. Yeah. We saw enough to know, right, cool, this guy's going to dominate cruiserweight for quite a fair time moving forward. Sometimes you can lose a fight, but you could see. Canelo. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So, for me, I actually think, I love the fight. Do you think Benavidez will overlook Morrell?
No.
You don't think so?
No. Because Morrell's the hottest prospect in, well, not in, I was going to say in 68. He's not in 68 anymore, but
he's the hottest prospect in 75.
He's one of the hottest prospects in the world. He's known for power as well. If he was a hot prospect that was known for technical boxing, he might get overlooked. But he's known for power. He's known for knockout punches. That's why I feel like you can't...
But Benavidez kind of took it like, there's nothing else left, so I'm going to take it. Do you not feel that affects your mindset?
Yeah, yes and no, because, he wants the big money fights. And if he can beat Morrell convincingly, that just brings him one step closer to the big money fights.
Do you think he
gets
credit for beating Morrell? Do you think Benavidez...
Yeah, of course. Of course. Because you know what? People still doubt Benavidez.
100.
People still say... especially Canelo fans, they're still what's he done to justify Canelo,
if you compare it, I would actually say Morrell's better than Berlanga. In my opinion, Morrell's better than Berlanga. And even if you say Berlanga's better than Morrell,
I think
they're competitive. He just went the distance with Berlanga. Canelo just went the distance with Berlanga. So if I starch Morrell, it's like I've beaten better level opposition, because the thing is, when Benavidez knocked out Andrade, Canelo fought Ryder and went the distance. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro,
I think that they were close. Since Berlanga's fought Canelo, he's got a bit more... He's got
clout.
He's got a bit more clout. But if you take that away, I would have had them as the same kind of overall level. But obviously, Morrell's more of a knockout puncher.
Yeah, so, facts. I think they're definitely comparable. Yeah. And for me, I just look at it and I think he should get credit for beating Morrell, but I don't know if he will.
Do you know, the risk of him overlooking it reminds me a bit of Dillian White. When Dillian White was mandatory for a world title, and he kept fighting the top level fighters in the interim, just to keep
Joseph
himself.
Parker,
and then eventually he lost.
Facts.
And then he lost to Povetkin.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it reminds me of. Don't be so tunnel vision on Canelo and overlook the guys that are coming up that you're fighting. Especially, it will be very, very similar if he was to, not that Povetkin was like a young prospect or anything like that, but he's
a top fighter.
He's a top fighter. So I think because he's a power puncher, I think that Benavidez might be more likely to overlook a Berlanga, or more likely to overlook a Munguia, or more likely to overlook one of those guys and get caught. Morrell's a power puncher. That's one of his main attributes.
Facts.
And they both kind of have to put on arguably a career best performance in this fight. This is going to be both of them in the pros. This is going to be their biggest test for each other, in my opinion, so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time Benavidez will be fighting someone that's actually the same size as him.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, people will say the Volzik fight, but Volzik was about 60, so... Yeah. And 3 years out of the ring.
Because people still doubt Benavidez. People, like I say, the Canelo fans especially, loads of people... Rants don't rate him, but loads of people don't rate him. Loads of people are like, look, he's overrated, he's this, he's that, he's a weight bully at 68, blah, blah, blah. Does the power translate to 175? From Morrell, that's going to be a question. Obviously, carrying around the extra weight. I know he's a natural bigger guy, but he's still got to carry around that weight for Benavidez.
Facts.
Can that translate? Can he be as effective?
There's a lot of
One thing I will
questions.
say, Morrell is a little bit scrappy in how he puts his punches together. He lacks a little bit of composure. He's a good finisher, but it reminds me a bit of Anthony Yard emptying the tank kind of thing.
Yeah,
I mean, when he gets his man hurt, it
happened in his last fight. He hurt what's his name, Kalajic, and he couldn't stop him because he emptied the tank and he ended up going 12 rounds.
Yeah, so that's what I see of him. The punches are a little bit wide. The power punches are a little bit wide. He's a good finisher because of his power.
It would have been definitely too early if he fought Bivol. Too early if he fought Beterbiev.
I felt like genuinely he was one fight away from. I was expecting to see him fighting Andrade, and don't know why Andrade.
He probably would have fought someone that's at light heavyweight. Who would I have actually wanted to see him fight before then?
I think there was literally one fight. You can pick a name, but it was
I'm
one.
gonna think of a good name.
So when I say it's too early, I think it's fine because it's only too early by one fight, if that makes sense. I mean, I would have just wanted to see him have one 175 fight and then go.
Yeah, 100%.
But 175 ain't got a lot of Callum Smith.
Callum Smith, maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of guys who I don't know where they are in their career right now.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I don't know if Alida Alvarez is still fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mean, a good name, I know he wouldn't have fought him, but a good name would have actually been who did Boatsy just beat the other day? Willie Hutchinson.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been a decent name, but I don't think that would have happened.
Yeah. But like you say, just one. It was just one fight away from if he beat one person at 175, like you say, a Hutchinson. If it was still at 168, I was looking at
maybe
Andrade.
Jean Pascal. Pascal's a bit past it, maybe.
Yeah, I just is that good preparation for Benavidez? I don't know. There's good preparation to adjust to the weight, but one fight, any of those fights, and he would have been fighting Benavidez anyway.
Yeah,
that's where he would have been. So it's although we're saying some people are saying it's too soon, it's only too soon by one fight, if that makes sense. In an ideal world, and nothing's ever ideal in boxing. You either fight somebody too early or you fight somebody too late. So one fight, give or take. Listen, we're there or thereabouts.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean? And either way, I think this will be a banging fight. Do you know what I mean? It's not quite a 50-50, but it's like a 60-40. Do you know what I mean? You're going to lean towards...
You think it's 60-40? I think it's 65-35, maybe 70-30.
Towards Benavidez. I think it's close. It could go either way.
I think it only goes either way if Benavidez makes mistakes. But
Which he will. He always makes mistakes.
Facts, exactly.
And David Murillo's a great counterpuncher. He's a Cuban.
Exactly.
And Cubans
don't... And he's wanted this fight. So he knows what he wants.
You don't have Cubans with... You don't really have many knockout Cubans.
Facts.
Do you know what I'm saying? So to have a knockout Cuban is rare.
Very.
So...
Very rare.
Yeah,
the last proper out-and-out knockout Cuban that I can think of. Maybe Ortiz.
I was going to say, but we got to take heavyweights out of it. I mean...
True.
You take heavyweights out of it. Even Rigondeaux, kind of defensive. He didn't stop people with defensive fighter.
Defensive.
You know,
Erislani Lara defensive. Yeah, but he just stopped that.
Who was the Mayweather one? Not Mayweather. The little pitbull guy. Was that Cruz? Oh, what's his name?
From Cuba.
Yeah, I'm sure he was Cuban. I could be wrong. I'm sure he was Cuban. Can't remember.
Who did he fight?
I actually can't remember.
White or black?
White, like dark skinned Cuban. I can't remember. It's gonna come to me randomly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you don't see many Cubans. Cubans are well schooled amateurs. We don't see them transitioning to their knockout game very often. Facts. So to have it, he's gonna be technically, fundamentally sound. He's got good amateur pedigree.
We'll see. It's going to be a great fight, man. That's got fireworks.
In Cuba, they're saying that they think he's like a amateur legend. Like he's really good.
He's young, but he's real young. Like normally Cubans kind of they get turned pro quite late, and then they age quite. You know what I'm saying? Like you think about when Rigondeaux came in the pros, Ortiz and all of that. Them man kind of the back end of their career.
Yeah.
It's very different to what you see in Mexico and Puerto Rico, where they pretty much start from their turn pro at 15.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll cover it more. When is that fight? February
the 1st.
Yeah, we got a long way to go before that fight, but at least we're seeing it announced. Hopefully, no injuries, nothing like that.
Good undercard as well. Fulton versus Figueroa too. That's going to be a great fight on the undercard.
Yeah. Stephen Fulton again.
Yeah.
Get back out there.
All I flipping hope is that the time between the fights aren't as long as Fulton and Louis.
They can't possibly be longer, to be fair. They can't be longer. So, boy,
Yeah.
that's it, man. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be covering all these fights live on the channel. You know what it is. Big love every time. We're out.